I'm going to call the meeting to order and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don?
Pledge allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been met by transmitting the notice of regular meeting to the Commissioner's official newspaper on February 4th, 2021, posting the notice where required, and filing a copy of the notice with the Commission clerk. The Deal Lake Commission meeting will be audio and videotaped and will be shown on APTV, Optimum 77, and throughout most of Monmouth County on FiOS 30. Allenhurst,
Present.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Deal, Interlaken,
Present.
Lock Harbor. I know you're there.
we're here.
Neptune,
Yes, here.
Ocean.
Here.
We have a lot of resolutions tonight. The first one is to appoint me for the commission for the year 2022.
I'd like to
And
offer that.
Second,
Out.
Ocean second.
Okay. Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Lock Harbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. The second one tonight, we have to appoint a chairman. Any nominations?
I offer Don.
I second it.
Okay, good.
Any other further nominations? A motion to close the nominations?
Yes.
Motion to close.
Second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Tonight, we have to appoint a vice chairman. Do we have a nomination?
I nominate Calarati from Interlaken.
Seconded,
Second.
any other nominations for vice chairman? A motion to close the nominations?
So
Diane.
moved.
Second,
Move.
Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Tonight we have a resolution to appoint the treasurer. Anybody nominating? It's
Bruce
usually.
Romer, please.
Okay,
Allenhurst.
second?
I'll
Second,
second.
okay. Any other nominations? Someone offered to close the motion on nominations.
I'll offer.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And resolution to appoint the deputy treasurer. We have one
Nominate Eric
nomination.
Hotelling.
Second,
I
I'll
second.
second.
no other nominations? A motion to close the nominations?
Motion to close Asbury Park.
Second, Ocean.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. A resolution to appoint the secretary in nomination of
Jeannie Toller, Asbury report.
someone second.
I'll second.
Any other nominations? A motion to close the nominations?
Motion to close.
Second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Further resolution to appoint the chief financial officer for 2022, Lorraine Carafa, at an amount not to exceed $5,000 annually. Someone offer?
I'll offer. What was that amount again?
$5,000 for the year?
What'd you hear, 50?
Whoa, this is, whoa, you had me scared. Who offered? Tony?
Yeah, I offered, yes.
Second?
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
Yep.
Allenhurst?
Yes.
Asbury Park?
Yes.
Interlaken?
Yes.
Love Garber?
Yes.
Neptune?
Yes.
Ocean?
Yes.
Next, we have a resolution to appoint our commission attorney, Hunt Harry, for the year 250 per meeting and $150 per hour for other commission business and litigation. Someone offer?
I'll offer.
Interlaken.
Second?
Interlaken.
Okay. Allenhurst?
Yes.
Asbury Park?
Yes.
Interlaken?
Yes.
Love Garber?
Yes.
Neptune?
Yes.
Ocean?
Abstain.
What?
I have to abstain. He's my lawyer.
Oh.
And plus, he's somewhere really warm. I would normally vote no.
A resolution to appoint Liana Savakian, Inc. as our commission engineer at the same hourly rates presently charged the commission in an amount not to exceed, I think we went up to $10,000 this year.
I'll offer.
Second,
Interlaken.
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Love Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Okay.
A resolution to appoint our auditor, Robert A. Holsart and Company, in an amount not to exceed $2,000 for the year 2022. Someone please offer.
Offered. Ocean.
Second,
I'll offer Allenhurst. Second.
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Love Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
and Ocean.
Yes.
Jesse, what was the cost again for the auditor?
The auditor is $2,000
Annual?
annual.
Thank you.
You're welcome. A resolution to appoint the environmental consultant. It's.
Can I ask a question? Why do we pick the auditor before we pick the environmental consultant?
No, you know what, oh, stop it.
Money. Money,
What
money,
does that tell
money.
you?
Well, here.
Yeah.
We gotta keep them in line. We keep the order between the engineer and the scientist. That's it.
Next year, I'm gonna move it. Dr. Stevenson of Clean Water Consulting Services through Princeton Hydro as environmental consultant for the year 2022 in an amount not to exceed $7,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second,
Interlaken,
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
yes.
North Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
and Ocean.
Yes.
Tonight, we have a resolution establishing official newspapers. We use the Coaster and the Asbury Park Press, and the secondary official newspaper, the Deal, as a secondary official newspaper. Their ads are very expensive. Come on, please offer.
I'll offer.
Second,
I'll second.
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
North Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
and Ocean.
Yes.
Next, we're going to adopt the meeting schedule for 2022. I'm going to put in there, we're going to keep going virtually for now, right?
Yes.
Yes. I checked all the dates. There's no Jewish holidays or anything.
I did check also, and they look clean to me, unless we have some
Unless
special holiday I'm missing. So you're right.
St. Patrick's Day, does that count?
My birthday, that
Oh,
counts.
it's on your birthday?
Is it really? My son's birthday. That's good. That's very interesting.
Oh, St. Patrick's Day, right?
No, June 16th is.
Oh, June 16th?
It's my birthday too, Jeannie.
Oh, really? Well, then we shouldn't have a meeting.
Someone please offer to adopt the meeting schedule for 2022?
So
Yes, right. Asbury offers.
Second,
Ocean.
let's see, and Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Gulf Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
and Ocean.
Yes.
Next is a resolution to establish our cash management plan. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second,
I'll second.
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Gulf Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes.
Next, we have a resolution to
Wow.
appoint the webmaster.
That's a long one.
For Ken McGee at $800.
Can we change that title, the webmaster and Zoom master?
Well, under new business, well, we have another thing during new
Okay.
business.
Okay.
A resolution to appoint Ken McGee at a quarterly rate of $200 per quarter for a total of $800. Someone please
So moved.
offer. Second,
Interlaken,
Second.
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
yes.
Gulf Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes.
A A resolution to approve the minutes of the regular meeting from December 2nd, 2021. Eric, unfortunately, you can't vote.
Okay.
Sorry. Someone please offer.
So moved.
What is it?
I offer, oh, no.
Someone second.
Interlaken.
Thank you. Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Walk River,
Yes.
Neptune,
So moved.
Can't vote.
and Ocean.
Yes.
Tonight, does someone want to read the treasurer's report? Eric, do you have it?
I have
Yeah,
it.
I'll read it. Oh, you could read it, Eric. Go ahead.
Eric, so,
Yeah, Eric's got it.
January 2022 balance on hand for the previous month was $64,689.21. New Jersey Cash Management Fund, $42,325.63. Total on deposit, $107,014.84. Receipts, Management Bank, November to December, $118.51. Interest, New Jersey Cash Management Fund, $2.99. Well, total receipts, $123.06. Disbursements, appropriations, Hunt Perry, Esquire, 2021 balance due $150. 2022 appropriations, Lorraine Carafa, CFO, January reimbursement supplies, $47.43. Jesse Joseph, administrative, January, $625. Don Brockle, January reimbursement, storage, $143.22. Princeton Hydro LLC invoice, $434.79, $460.50. Princeton Hydro LLC invoice, $43,627, $684. Verizon A/C number 24-5-2-0001, invoice number 9895 723-584, $39.96. Subtotal $2,566.78. 319H 016 Princeton Hydro, November, 43,434, 3,600. Princeton Hydro LLC, November, 435, 225.85. Princeton Hydro, December, 436.28, 105. Subtotal grant disbursements, $3,930.85. Total disbursements, $6,497.63. Balance after December disbursements, Manasquan Bank, $58,310.09. New Jersey Cash Management Fund, $42,328.62. Total on deposit, $100,630.71.
Someone please offer the bills, the treasurer's report and bills to be paid.
So moved.
Offer.
Second at Asbury Park.
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Walk Harbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
and Ocean.
Yes.
You know what I forgot to do was swear everybody in that were officers.
Okay.
So I'll swear everyone in. Do I have to go back and do all the,
Well,
we're good, right? Let me just, is everybody ready?
yeah, I am.
Okay. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Aaron Hotel.
Say your name.
Anthony Morrow,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
solemnly swear
Swear that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
Uh,
States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the
Constitution of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear allegiance
to the same and to the governments established
to the same
The government's established.
in the United States and in the state
in the United States
under the authority of the people.
under the authority
Majority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear that I will faithfully,
I
I
do
do
Solemnly swear
That I will
impartially, and justly perform all of the duties
and justly perform all the
all the duties
of the position of
of the
position
position of
Commissioner
whatever your positions are,
co-chair
for the,
Lock arm.
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Amen.
Thank you. I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
that goes for the alternates who are listening too, right?
No, it's just for the chairman, the vice chairman, the treasurer, vice, the people that we appointed,
All the new members.
It's the officers.
the officers.
All right.
Okay.
But if Bruce gets eaten by an alligator, you're in.
All right.
Okay, Don, the 319, no Flume, huh?
Well,
Like,
that's going to be under
I'm
new business.
sorry.
New business. That's funny you should say that, right? Okay. Let's 319. We got a lot of actions going on at 319 project. And Peter, you want to go over the first part?
Sure. Well, the literal first part is that the MTD project is complete. The units are installed and working. All the pavement restoration and site management and treatment has been completed. Our educational component was a resounding success. Thanks to Don and Jack and Jeannie and everyone who coordinated that with Asbury Park High School and Asbury Park Public Works and the governing body. I think Asbury Park's thrilled with the work that we did over the past year. At times over the years, we had a somewhat contentious relationship with Asbury Park. I think, like most towns, it's because we didn't advise them as to what we were doing, and having commissioners who are more engaged in their towns has been very helpful. So with that, the project's moving on. Jack has told you and keeps telling you about the floating wetlands. I think they stayed intact after our last round of bad weather, which is a good thing. And the next phase will be rain gardens in Ocean Grove and tree wells, tree boxes at various locations in our watershed. That project is progressing now and probably a springtime job when we're done.
Do we have a motion, Pete,
Yes.
to vote on something today or no?
There was something, the
Yes.
work that we did on the first phase of the project was governed by the grant. Steve and Jack put it together and
Right.
had a dollar amount in it. The rain gardens and the tree box devices are separate than that project that we developed. So we did a separate not to exceed proposal for engineering, design and construction, including field survey work, including elevation verification, including plans, specifications, bidding, receipt of bids, award of a contract, construction coordination, and also coordination with the towns, because particularly in Ocean Grove, it takes a lot of time to present a project to them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Have them evaluate it, have them look at it, and I'm sure Don and I will be going and meeting with the trustees there in the near future.
And I didn't flip, but it's the next resolution we're going to vote on this second.
Okay,
And,
fine.
but let's keep talking. The rain gardens, on the rain gardens, I actually took a long walk yesterday from my house, and I'm sorry, from the parking lot in Asbury. Did the Ocean Grove walk, came back around by the bridge, Wesley Lake, and our islands moved.
They did, didn't they?
They stayed intact, but they
Yeah.
drifted. Not only did they drift, but all the lights that they put up for the geese remediation moved all over the lake. So
That's
that
saying a
wind was
lot
60
because
mile an
those
hour.
those don't
It was-
provide a whole lot of wind resistance. The islands do.
Yeah,
That's saying a lot.
yeah. So they moved, I would say, what, 20, 30 feet or maybe more. Gail noticed them too. So they're going to have to get a team together and move them back. I don't necessarily expect Princeton Hydro to do it, but the locals can do that. I did notice some plants, like full plants were missing out of the sockets. So I don't know what we have to do there, but we'll see what happens in the spring when everything starts growing again. But
Well, if I may,
yeah,
you do have a contract with us to do upgrades to those islands as needed, which is when we did the anchoring we upgraded the anchors and changed, which is why they didn't break this time, luckily, but they did move a little bit. We will be going out sometime at the end of February or beginning of March to put the goose fencing back on, so we could potentially move them then. Unless
Okay.
people want to move them ahead of time, that's fine too.
I don't think
because-
so. I don't think so.
Yeah, so
And were you going to put new plan and some plantings in also or not?
we might be able. It's not out of the question.
It's not a lot. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
it's
if-
definitely a missing plant.
Right. So if that's something that we can establish before we go out there, we can order the plants and bring them with us. Or we can have them sent out and you guys can just throw them on.
Tell you what, I'll take some
harder to
pictures.
do once we have the goose fencing up. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, I'll take some pictures of, and the goose fencing, maybe the goose fencing only has to go up 12 inches instead of as high as we had them.
Fair enough.
That's
Also, as the plants establish themselves, they will fill in any gaps. So we put them at a relatively standard density, and as they grow bigger, they will fill in whatever spaces are missing. Because
right.
we do anticipate some dying, not we don't want all of them to die. We don't want half of them to die, but there is going to be a certain amount of mortality over the years. So missing plug here and there is not going to be the end of the world either. So,
Well, the birds are loving them. The ducks are loving sitting on them. I'll tell you that right now. They're all over them.
well, it's not the geese.
I
Not
have
the
a
geese.
question, Jack, about being at the ocean. Have you done other projects where they were that close to the ocean before? Does you think that intensity of that wind that we get from the ocean, that's going to affect them and more than, say, places inland?
The plants themselves, I mean, I don't think it's going to have a great effect on the long-term survival of the plants themselves, but for small incidents like a windstorm like this, it'll have an effect. But the more established they get, I think the more the plants will be able to hold on.
Some might just be in the
Understand
beginning.
that.
Yeah, till they get really established that thank
I
you.
think so.
This might be the closest,
So
closest
I think,
lake into the ocean ever. I mean, I would assume.
yeah, but I don't really think it has anything to do with being as close to the ocean. It's really the setch of the lake, how long the wind can blow over it. So I mean, Princeton Hydro has put them in lakes way larger than Wesley Lake, and a lot of it really just has to do with the orientation of the lake and how the wind kind of funnels through. So I don't really think it has anything to do with the ocean, proximity to the ocean.
Okay.
I guess I was thinking that wind that we get from the ocean that does, you say, funnels across that lake.
We'll find out. That's the whole idea about the experiment too. So it'll be good. Let's get to the motion. Jeannie, you want to read it?
How about me?
I'm sorry, Jesse. Jesse.
And authorizing the engineering services related to the 319H grant, rain gardens and water quality tree boxes in an amount not to exceed $15,000. Someone offer?
Asbury Park offers.
Second?
I'll second.
Oh, go ahead, Interlaken.
Allenhurst?
Yes.
Asbury Park?
Yes.
Interlaken?
Yes.
North Garber?
Yes.
Neptune?
Yes.
And Ocean.
Yes. Okay. Next one, the new 319. This is interesting. So we have the New Jersey Institute of Technology. No word from them. I guess later in the spring we'll hear more about that. Nobility Crest Hunt. I got more details. You might have seen the email. I think that's as best we get. So we're going to have to go, if you can pass that along to the lawyers there at Amboy Bank and tell them we want to meet again. You could pick the date and we'll pick a couple of days. We'll figure it out. Or we could do it on Zoom, Hunt. We could do that too. Okay. And that one, I just to remind everybody with we met with Amway Bank, and they want to be partners with us now after they saw what they did to the lake and the downstream effects to Cedar Village. So we're just coordinating. They just want to know some contact points and who our township officials met with, and we've made that happen. So we're going to talk to them more and hopefully have a nice relationship with these guys, and hopefully improve the stormwater management up in that area. That's our ultimate goal. Shoreline Protection. I just want to thank Jeannie, and I guess Ed too, for helping out getting these printed up, and the team Jeannie put together. This was the original, and this is how it came out. And I'll tell you, I've been getting calls and emails and texts from people that said this is pretty nice. So we should pat everybody, pat Jeannie on the back and everybody else who was involved. And Steve, thank you very much. And it's very informative.
I'd like to thank the volunteers that went out, while it was cold. They were out going door to door. We had a group of them, and really nice folks. We had a couple of Zoom meetings, and everybody covered. Just about the entire lakefront has been covered. Just a few spots have not yet been covered. And I'm not sure which towns got covered yet because I haven't heard back from the commissioners, but Asbury Park has been covered. I know Eric has taken them to Neptune, right?
Yes.
I think, Don, you did too. I'm not sure. But anyway, they're getting into the hands of the town officials and they're distributing them to the construction departments and wherever they feel they need, they would be best.
Yep.
So thanks to those people. I don't know if anybody is here that I see on the screen tonight, but I want to send out something, if you would, when we're done with this, to thank those people for going. I mean, it was quite a lot of territory to cover. No, Eddie's.
I'll tell you what, Jeannie, why don't we get their names and we'll post their names on the website and thank them that way, okay?
Yeah, and thanks to Eddie, of course, for his help with that and getting them printed and for distributing them.
Yes.
In Asbury Park too.
Okay, next thing. In line with that, I think we're going to have to set up a meeting. I'm not sure how far down the road, but we're going to have to set a meeting up with the state because I got a response back on the two properties that had problems, Locust Drive and One Point Road. And, I'll read part of it to you. Notice violation was issued to the one in Asbury. And we've been having ongoing discussions with the property owner and their engineer and attorney on steps towards bringing the site into compliance. I read nothing about violations or penalties or fines, and that concerns me because I thought it was pretty obnoxious that they ripped the shoreline up like that. Same thing with one of Massa. They're waiting for information from the property owner, but now they're in the process of finalizing. Danielle is in process of finalizing a report. So it's a long process, and I'm so confused by what the state enforcement piece has to do. And we know that people call into the state and get instant response and get good results. So the people that violate, to me, seems to get a get out of jail free card. So I mean, at least initially, they don't get shut down immediately. So that's one of our concerns is How can that be? How can somebody bring a backhoe in their backyard and start digging up the shoreline and not be stopped immediately? That bothers me.
Yeah.
So-
Did she use the word restoration? I thought that she used that they need to restore it. So, I mean, when you use that word, that's going to be an expensive process for them.
I don't think they're going that direction. That's my guess. But I think we're gonna have to meet with them, Jenny. So you and I privately off the line, we'll talk about a date that we're gonna meet with them, okay?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
We'll do it, March, probably April timeframe. Or maybe March. I should say March, because we should get it done before the summer for sure. Okay.
And you really need to get clarification what they mean when they say bring the site into compliance.
right.
You know,
Exactly.
that's a real vague statement.
Right. And you know how bad it was, so.
Do you think it would be good to have Steve? I would like to have you with us as you were with our last meeting. What do you think?
You know, I'm up for it. You just, let me know. I mean, I can.
We'll do a Zoom meeting again. We'll try to arrange it. I'm gonna work on that. I'll let you guys know of a date, okay? Let me keep moving. Goose, carp. Now the goose situation is very similar to last year. The only big exception, I don't know if Gina, you know this, but Asbury did not hire back goose chasers. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
That's a big deal. So they hired another company. I have no idea who it is, but there's another company involved. So if you could check on that.
Okay.
And get back next month. And I'm not sure exactly how they're going to run it, but they hired a completely different operation, which kind of shocked me. So after our discussions.
I just have to bring this up since, there is there's nothing planned for addling eggs on the Asbury Park section of Deal Lake for. There's no money aside for that right now from Asbury.
We're going to
I
have,
don't know.
we could get the public to, we'll have to work that out with Asbury. We're going to have to talk, you're going to have to talk to Asbury about it again. I mean, maybe they can do something with the new company that they just hired. I don't know. Different company.
But
the time we spent with goose chasers basically was a waste of our time. So that's a shame, but oh well.
The thing is that we know that the USDA can go on private property if they get permission, which we have to do. So
right.
That's kind of one of the differences between them and the private companies that don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. Tell you what, Jeannie, why don't you check on Asbury? We'll talk about it next month, but see what's going on with that and how maybe we can somehow incorporate the new company on that and that reach, that maybe they can do something in there where goose chasers couldn't do it. Maybe this company would allow it. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep moving. Hey, Steve, can you get a carp remediation permit to find out what dates we can do it? Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I've got so as far as the dates, I'll have to talk to DEP. I have the permit prepared and it's ready to go.
Okay.
And then I went through the RFPs that we had sent out in 2019.
We're going to do it internally. We're going to do
it
get volunteers to do
Okay.
it. So
all right.
we already
So the
bought
only other
that.
the only other thing I need then from you, Don, is the specification on the net. So can you get me the specs on the net?
Oh, yeah, it's a batting cage. It's like 10 feet by 40 feet. I'll get it for you. Sure.
Yeah, and then especially the size of the mesh, they need to know that too.
Oh, sure. I got that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
But
easy.
I've got the permit app ready to go. I'll talk to them, but typically they're a little bit antsy about doing it when largemouth bass are spawning.
Sure,
So
understood.
it may have to be either early spring or after the bass have spawned, like maybe like around August. But
If we can have if we can get 2 dates, one before bass and a period of time before and a period of time after.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
What I'm applying for is technically a scientific collector's permit. And that's what allows you to, salvage the fish. And yeah, I'll put that, I'll go back, I'll revise that. I'll make it for a broad time frame.
Okay, I'll send the
say
specs
from
to you.
April through September or something like that.
Okay.
Could you just briefly say what that remediation effort is for carp? What is it that you do with the net?
It's basically you bait the net. You pull the net up. The net is pulled up in a up position, captures the fish. You net the fish out, put them in a bucket, and you bring them basically to a bait store, and they take care of them. Or you can give them to farmers. There's some farmers that will take them too.
Well, the logical question is, how do you separate carp from other fish?
That's why you bait the net. So you bait the net with basically cracked corn. Okay, so what it does is attracts the carp, and I've overseen projects like this, and you almost exclusively catch carp. That's it, because they come in to feed on the corn.
You might get catfish. You might get catfish.
Well, I really probably not. Because the carp just their disturbance keep the other fish out.
Oh,
but
good point.
The whole idea is you have to bait the net, get the fish to go to the net, and then. But it's I've overseen projects like same thing with Jack. I mean, we did a couple of these out in Long Island, and yeah, it's almost exclusively carp.
Oh, that's good to know. That's what they feed on, and other fish aren't interested in that bait then.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to keep on moving on here. Thanks, Steve. Ship and sniff program. We've been talking Clean Ocean Action. We're trying to set up another sampling period. I identified a pipe again in Lock Harbor by Norwood and Edgemont, and there was bad stuff. Big black pipe, that 4-foot pipe, Margot. There was all kinds of debris and just messy water coming out after a rainstorm. So I think that was the hot spot during the last test. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't.
Yeah, that was the one spot where they got human waste. They found.
Does Maryland know that?
I don't know. I don't know that answer.
Writing it down.
Okay. Okay. The restoration project of the lakes. I mean, Ocean is supposedly doing testing on Terrace Pond, not Lollipop Pond, Fireman's Pond, and also Schnell's Lake, which is not associated with Deal Lake. I don't know if they took the samples yet, but they were planning to take the samples a month ago. So I assume they got the samples. So after that, we'll have more, hopefully more information next meeting of what the next step is, but they plan, I think, to dredge those bodies of water within the next year. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Water testing. Jeannie, you want to take that with the,
Well, just, I think the last word, if I'm correct, Hunt, we would need to, we said March 17th, 15, we were going to have a workshop on presentation by Jason and from Clonat. So we need to do a workshop for the 17th of March, because that would start at 6:15. Correct, Hunt? That's what we need to do to.
Yes, you would have to publish that. So Jesse, if you're going to publish we already know that that's on the schedule. So when you publish for the year, you can put that on there.
Yeah. Yep. You wanted to start at 6:15, Jeannie? Dawn?
Right, that's what you said, right, Don? 6:15?
yeah, 6:15.
Okay, so do we need to vote on that?
We did on,
Well, you're gonna, basically you're just moving to amend your yearly schedule that you've already approved.
Okay.
Include
So-
that.
So we're voting to
Yeah, you need
amend.
a motion and you need a second.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to amend our schedule, our annual schedule, to add a workshop on March 17th at 6:15 p.m.
March 17th?
March 17th, our March meeting.
And Jeannie, is this going to be specified specifically for Deal Lake? Or is
Yes,
it going to be, okay, because
Yeah.
I don't want to go over all the lakes. I'd rather just really specify.
well, I'll make sure they know that, but
Okay.
yeah, I believe so. Is there something, Steve, that I know you had spoken to Jason at one point? Is there anything that I should say to them when I write back? Or,
No, I mean, I think we've got everything covered with Jason. I mean, they know they have sampling sites, the parameter list, everything else. I don't think there's anything else that Dr. Adolph, needs from us at this point in time.
okay, great. I'll communicate with them, and hopefully March 17th will be all right with them, but I wanted to say.
Jeannie, you kept saying that Jason was coming in February. It's now March.
Well,
Jason-
Dawn thinks
Yes.
better to have.
We're going to have a lot to do in February. I don't want to mess that up.
Okay. So someone second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay. We roll on.
New business, we have to authorize, if we continue to do the Zoom meetings, we have to pay for it.
Let's do it.
Ken, is it still $16 a year, a month?
Yes, it's still that rate.
Okay. Okay, so someone offered to second,
So moved.
Yeah,
Alan Hurst? Tony?
Hello.
Oh,
He's muted.
Where'd he go? Give me a thumb up. Anthony, you good?
He's muted.
Asbury Park?
yes,
Give me the thumbs. I got thumbs. He got a thumbs up.
Yes.
Loch Arbor?
Yes.
Neptune?
yes.
And Ocean?
Yes.
Last year, because there's a lot more that goes on with the, doing the virtual meetings, we increased Ken's salary while we were doing the meetings to another $100. Did we want to do that again this year?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll increase Ken for this year while we're doing the virtual meetings for $100 a month, not to exceed $1,200. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Okay.
Second.
Second motion.
Okay. Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Juligan,
Yes.
Lord Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
and Ocean.
Yes.
On the new 319.
Okay. There's a new proposal by the state of New Jersey. New opportunity for 319 to gather up funds for projects. So clean water again, non-point source, pollution source, and some other potential opportunities. Steve, you want to go over some of those?
Yeah, I think probably the best, because, we go with what we have been doing and essentially like extension of these projects, because number one, we know the state has liked the projects, they have funded them. Jack can write up what they call an EPA and DEP success story that really shows what was done, how it was accomplished. We can interject into that all of the community support and community involvement. But I think that the best thing is again working with Peter. We can identify some sites. We can do more tree boxes, perhaps another MTD. But I would say really try to stick with what has worked and what DEP has been happy with. And Peter and Jack, you can chime in on this, but although we would like to do some stream restoration projects, those projects get really difficult because number one, DEP is going to want to have ahead of time approval from the property owners, and most of those projects involve private properties. And then number two, those projects do require some pretty significant DEP permits. So there's the time lapse and time loss, because just because they fund it doesn't mean that they're going to wash their hands of requiring a permit. So my suggestion would be stick with what we've done and just find, and we have plenty of additional sites where we can do work of this nature.
We were talking about maybe two proposals. One with updating our stormwater management plan. I think that's what it's called, right, Steve?
Yeah, Jack and I are really going to have to take a look at the approved, what DEP will approve. I mean, they haven't been too wild about doing update, any kind of plans type stuff. But I mean, Jack, you and I can take a look at that, but I don't think that is on the list. I think they want to see implementation projects.
Well, there is a fair amount of planning projects, but not a whole lot of funding for it. And I think with Deal Lake not being within the priority areas, so right, the priority areas that they're focusing on are the upper and lower Delaware watersheds, as well as the Northeast, which is where Greenwood Lake is. So the Atlantic coast and Raritan Bay kind of watershed are not high on the priority list. So the small pots of funding that are available for the rest of the state are going to be in very high competitive fields. So it's going to be tough. And it's a smaller pot.
That's what I was thinking. If you had two proposals, one which would be low cost, updating our plan and maybe doing a plan for Western Lake, because Sunset's within our plan, right? So that's easy. We include the 3 lakes again, do a $50,000 to $100,000, what do those plans cost to draw up?
Somewhere between 50 and 100, but there's only 500,000. So that means that maybe they'll get in 6 plans for the whole state.
Okay. If you go look at that document, they already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different water bodies in the targeted watersheds that they are identifying by name under, under the, but you can go for it. I mean, it's just some additional time. If you want to go for it, you can go for it.
Is there anything in the grant offerings that you see that to help us to prevent the kind of runoff that we're seeing into the lake and the sedimentation buildup? Is there anything that they would give grant money for in that would help our lake that way with the sediment?
Well, that's what the MTDs are doing. I mean, they're intercepting sediment. But if you're saying, to try to do like a stream restoration project, because we're not in a targeted watershed, it's going to be tough. I mean, those are big money projects. Personally, I would advise you against that simply because you have to look at the odds of, how many lakes are going to go after this. And it's not just lakes either. You're going to have watershed groups that are going to go after this money. And not being in one of those 3 targeted watershed protection areas, it lessens our chances right away. So
the only positive thing, Steve, if we do put something together, it's really, even if we don't get it, it's practice, and at least we have something drawn up for the next time, so we can enhance it. I mean, it's a year or 2 later down the road, there'll be more. Is it every year they do 319?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's we'll be ready for next year. So why not put something together and work with the other 2 lakes as best we can and get something done.
I don't know do they see the 2 those as the same or 2 different things? Prevention of more runoff versus
it's non-point source pollution, so it's all the above.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about addressing the nutrients that are already in there, that's
runoff.
Okay.
Coming into the lake west to east, coming into the lake.
Anyway, I think the point we're trying to get across here, we probably should put a proposal together. It's not, as you said, Steve, we could put 2 together and submit 2 before, and see what happens. Do the one for the.
Just keep in mind these are due February 28th. Okay, so yeah, it's short turnaround time.
I'll work with you on it. I don't have a problem with that. we'll just whip something up and send it in. Last time we whipped it up and
Gotta
we
be
had
done on,
it.
and it's got to be done online using their format too.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, remember that. It's not, it's not just like putting something down on a piece of paper and sending it to them.
But we did it last time. No, we were successful, so.
So, no, we can do it. It just, I mean, I think Jack and I need direction, and, Jack, Guy, and Peter, I mean, we need direction from you guys because, it takes a lot of effort to put these together, and we have, roughly, 20 business days, to get this done.
Right.
Well, you want to just put one in on, if you don't think we're to get the bigger one, why don't we try for a small one and do at least the redo our watershed study and then do one for Wesley, include Wesley in that. And just do one.
Well, they did like the idea. Remember when we met with them a few years back, they liked the idea of having all three lakes apply under one umbrella. So
correct.
We could try to capitalize on that. But it's your call.
What is it that we would be applying for?
We're applying for non-point source pollution.
Non-point.
Remediation.
Okay, so it's not going to really help the sediment issue that we have.
Yes, it'll help it dramatically. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what the MTDs, that's primarily what they're removing is sediment and floatables. That's it's primarily particulate material that gets trapped.
So
by all
I asked the commissioners, do we want to do it? Thumbs up or thumbs down? What do you want to do?
Yes, definitely. Let's do it.
Carol? What do you think?
I'm just worried about timing.
Well,
But,
If we don't make it, we don't make it. We do our best.
Thumbs up.
Wesley and Fletcher Lake.
Eric, what do you think?
I'm just figuring out, you mentioned Wesley and Fletcher Lake. How would that work?
Not Fletcher.
Wesley?
It's Wesley and Sunset Lake. We'll keep with the two that we got. We're not going to expand past that.
Eel Lake, Wesley Lake, and Sunset Lake.
Yeah, I like the MTDs. I think anytime we have an opportunity, that's where we should go. It's the simplest thing to do, I think. And, I think everybody, the DEP likes them.
I'm sorry if I'm asking a redundant question. Is it remediation or prevention of non-point source pollution?
It's a little bit of actually a little bit of both. Okay, but what we're doing is primarily remediation. So we're accepting the fact that there's pollutants that are entering the lake. However, what we're doing is intercepting them before they enter the lake. So we're not going back to the source and trying to, control the source.
Okay.
We're kind of like collecting it. If Ken gives me chat, the chat's disabled, but if he allows me to put, I'll give you the link to the grant, to the grant application page, and you can download the grant application and see for yourself, what's involved with it. But I have the link, but chat's disabled, so I can't do that. I can email it over to Jesse, and Jesse, you could just email it to all of the commissioners.
Steve would like to be able to share screen.
It's okay. We'll just share it. It's okay.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll email it over, to Jessie, and she can distribute it to everybody.
Okay,
But just keep in mind, they're due the 28th.
right.
So that means we're going to have signatures and all the other things that go along with this,
And that's a Monday, just FYI.
No, we get
So
it
if you don't
done.
want to be working on it over a weekend,
Well, we'll do our best, right? We'll do our best.
let's do the 25th.
Yeah.
We'll do some brainstorming next week, okay, guys?
Because
so
it has to be submitted on Sage, and Sage is going to
Oh, yeah.
correct the Monday.
And I
when
gotta
everybody
also
decides to
I want to
apply
bring
for
the
it.
other lakes in too for a
Right.
quick discussion. I already gave them warnings, at least one of them. I gave Wesley a heads up of what we're trying to do, so.
Okay,
Anyway,
so, all right, so Ken just gave me, he just gave me authorization to do that. So here, there's the link if you guys want to download the grant application. I think what we should do, Don, is between me, you, Jack, and Peter, we need to have some milestones between now and the 28th, like a schedule.
Right.
So we can move on this. And like Jack's saying, what happens with that digital submittal portal that DEP has is that it gets totally jammed up on the day everything is due. And if it's not submitted by 4:00, you're done, so it's not like it, when we could do it by FedEx or mail.
What was the date of that again? What was the date of the due date?
20th of February.
22nd? I'm sorry, I missed that.
28.
28th. I mean, we could, to finalize it, and Carol just sent me a little note. Maybe we do a workshop in that's why I was concerned about February. Maybe we do a workshop in February on finalizing the details, and incorporate bring the other lakes in at that time. What do you think?
I think we might need the time.
That would be a concentrated effort specifically, and it won't be, I can't say it's going to be open to the total public, but it can be heard by the public, but the key principles have to be the main speakers. So
I would think you'd want the rest of the lakes involved before that.
Yeah, but I mean, for the final review, that would be it in open public forum. We could do a Zoom.
Do you need the public?
We don't necessarily have to do it. Do we have to, can we have a separate workshop just on this grant separately, a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, I mean, you're not including all the commissioners, you're just.
As long as you properly notice it, yes. But you just got to be careful to notice on any of the.
Do I have to notice if it's a workshop that only one or two of the commissioners are on? Do we have to notify
If you're going to have the number of commissioners that can possibly constitute a majority, then you have to notice it.
We wouldn't have that.
So you're talking 2 commissioners.
Yes.
That's not a problem.
We don't have to have public notice. Okay, got it. All right. Well, we might have a public meeting anyway to tell the public what we're doing. Maybe that's
it's always better to do it that way anyway. It's just better to do it.
Get in trouble.
Then you can't get in trouble, right?
So we'll do a public workshop in February, 6 o'clock on the 319 grant. So,
All right.
but we won't let Laker back
In the
on.
meantime, we'll dust off the previous grant application, and I'll go back and look for the grant application I submitted like in 2006. I think it was like 2006 or whatever, that was for the plan.
Oh, I
So,
got you. Okay.
So someone
And
offered,
by the way, stream restoration, that stream restoration could be the one from Seaview to Terrace Pond. That's a mess. And Ocean Township, I think, owns all of it, I think. I'm not
that's a big
100%
deal.
sure.
I mean, if it involves private property, you have to have the property owner's consent.
Okay, I'll find out who that is. My gut feeling, it's all Ocean Township.
That
All
owns,
right.
you mean, that owns that property, you mean, Don?
Yeah. Peter, you know that answer? Did we lose Peter? Oh, there's Peter.
No, Don, I don't.
Okay. We'll find out. Okay. Let's keep moving, guys. The next one actually is similar discussion. I saw something from the state of New Jersey today talking about infrastructure monies.
I'm sorry, but didn't you just start a motion that we were gonna have you're gonna have a meeting?
keep going.
No,
Okay,
I don't think we're having the motion yet. I'm not doing the motion yet. Do we need that motion yet?
I don't know.
Oh, Jesse, do we need a motion now? I can
Yes,
do it
let's
later, right?
just do the motion. Someone second, I'll advertise it, okay? Just
Okay, I'll move for a motion the next meeting, 6 o'clock to 6:45 for a workshop on the 319 grant.
Okay, someone second,
Like,
all in favor?
Aye.
The next meeting?
I'm
Yes,
gonna
I do.
continue, I'm gonna continue moving, okay?
Okay, I didn't know.
Gotta get going. There's a state of New Jersey has put up some questions about infrastructure opportunities, and it's clean, it's water, it's sewer, and it says stormwater. I didn't get all the details yet, but it looks very interesting. So keep your ears open, please. I'll send a copy of it out to everyone later tonight.
is that what I sent you? Is that what I sent you the other day, Don?
I don't think I sent it out yet. This is something.
No. Is that what I sent? I sent to you that I got from Peter Hughes?
Yeah, that's different. That's different.
Okay.
I think. I don't. Yeah. What was that? That was about.
It was about
That was a
clean water.
workshop. What was it? Money?
No, it's money.
It might be similar.
Okay, we'll send it to us.
But I'll send it out to everybody, and you'll get. It's one of these announcements. I just got it today. But it didn't have any dollars assigned to stormwater management, which is interesting. But you're talking billions of dollars. I mean, I think, if I read it right. Actually, no, I'm not going to show you. Well, I'll send it to you. But it's exciting. So it's another source of funds, right? Another source of funds. Flume Report, I sent a copy to Jesse. I guess, Jesse, you got that out, right? And it was only, 2 pages long?
Yeah.
We didn't, opened the Flume that much last year, believe it or not. There wasn't that many cases where we had to open it, so that was good. And the permit, Jesse did a great job and got the new permit, and we're ready to go for the new year. We have permission to open the Flume. We have predicted rains over an inch, so we can lower it 18 inches if we want. But of course, we know we don't always lower it. Usually it's 2 or 3 inches predicted that we're really worrying about this, the overflows.
Web feed.
The web feed to the Flume cameras. Ken, I got to get together with you and our company again. I got to get that done. I think it's going to be only one camera they're going to be able to see. So I'll try to make that happen this month. So hopefully next month we can say we got a web feed coming out. Have you had any more discussions, Ken, with Rick?
I have not.
Okay. Okay, we'll try to make that connection. Weed treatment. Steve, I asked Steve to work up the RFP for the weed treatment. You want to talk about that, Steve, a little bit?
Yeah, so I sent that over to Don and Jesse. Essentially, it's similar to what was the RFP that was sent out last year. It asked for weed treatment of the terrace pond area, the lower part, section over by Brian's house of Hollow Brook that was treated last year. And then a section of the sunset arm of the lake that essentially runs from Wickapaco along the southern shore to about the terminus of Drummond Point. And that would be primarily just on the southern shore. So the RFP is prepared. It was sent out as a draft for you guys to review. And then I also provided Jesse with the contact information for at least 4 different applicators that could bid on the job.
Okay. Do we have to have a motion now on this, Steve?
I mean, it's your call. I mean, I thought that you were going to distribute it to the commissioners so they could review it, make whatever edits. I could do the edits in advance of next month's meeting. It could be approved at that point in time, and then Jesse and I would take over at that point, send it out to prospective bidders, and then we could have a contractor lined up by May.
Okay, let's try to.
I'll send it out.
I'm just trying to think. So it's February, March. We got enough time. March. Yeah, we should have. If we award it in March, we should be good, right?
Yeah. The permit process now for weed treatments is really short. I mean, it's done online, and it only takes about 2 days to get approval. And sometimes even for like deal, because it's been treated in the past, the applicator may get approval the same day. So that the permitting process isn't the issue. It's going to just be contracting and getting signed contracts and all of that taken care of.
So what we need to approve though is the RFP, right? Which is pretty much the same RFP we approved last year for the same exact area. So I'm going to say for me anyway, I'm okay with going ahead with what we approved again this year. If everybody else feels that way, I would move.
Is it the same thing, Steve, or what? You think?
Yeah, I mean, I made some minor modifications to it. You know, we'll have to add to it just some, you know, the
Why
dates.
don't we do that? Why don't we make a motion? I'll make a motion that we approve the release of the RFP for after final. I'll do a final review with Jesse, and then after that we'll send it out. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And then
the motion's
Hunt
on the
should look
table.
at it. Hunt should look at it as well, just to make sure, you know,
Okay.
there's, you know, the whole section on insurance and all the rest of that stuff that should be reviewed again.
So I have to review by Hunt, myself, and Jesse. If everybody's in agreement, we'll release, once we agree on everything, we'll release the RFP for bidding process.
I second that.
Okay.
Right. And you can, you know, you can direct email it to like 4 applicators, you know, Princeton Hydro, Solitude.
Well, we gotta, let's get the vote first. Hold on.
Yeah.
Allenhurst,
I made
Yes.
Asbury Park,
yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Mount Carver,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes. Okay. Carp, we talked about the carp already. Cleanup date. Gotta think that, right? I was looking at my schedule. How's April 3rd for everybody?
Good.
Is that bad? Good?
Looks good.
Okay. So let's make, if April 3rd's good, we don't have to vote on this, right?
That's a Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday.
Oh, whoa. Is it 3rd? I'm sorry.
April 3rd is a Sunday.
No. I made a mistake.
It's the second.
Second. Sorry, April 2nd. Thank you
Well,
very much.
It's the beginning of Ramadan.
I did see that. I think we're okay with that.
Second. Don't get in trouble, Tom.
Yeah, I usually like March, but my March is booked. I'll be actually in winter camp the end of March. We had to move our Winterberg to from last week to March because of COVID. So I was going to have 170 kids in cabins, 10 cabins. So
Same as every other cleanup. I just want to know for advertising it. April 2nd, 9 to 12.
Yep.
Same as usual. Everything else. Okay. No
program.
lake lowering for this event.
No lake lowering. No, nothing below top of dam. We'll get it to top of dam. The other one, car and lake. That's a new one. I don't know if you know, in Colonial Terrace had a little accident the other day. Supposedly, a bunch of kids were riding in a car. College kids supposedly went through. I don't know what time of day and what day it was. I think it was in the weekend. Blew through their sign going northbound on Wickebecker, crossed the cut, hit the curb, went over through their sign, their beautiful sign they have, went across Bimbler into the new house that was just renovated, went through the garage and went out the back.
They closed on the house that day.
They closed the house that day.
Yeah.
They were going to move in the next day, young couple, I heard. Do you know any more, Jess? Did the car get in the lake?
No.
It went into the lake.
Oh, it did? I thought it would just went on the embankment.
It went into the lake.
Photo of the tail end of it went into the lake. It actually did a 180 at some point, and the trunk of the car and the rear end of the car was in the lake, and then
Unbelievable.
Well,
Brian, were you there?
No, I got photos from the fire department. It happened at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, it really? Wow.
Went through the front door and missed the garage. Went right through the
Yeah,
front
it went
door.
through the front door and front
Went through the
window.
front door?
But out the back of the garage, exploding the concrete foundation of the back corner of the house.
Oh,
well,
And none of them were hurt.
unbelievable.
Oh my God.
I heard it was a Mercedes Benz.
It was. It's a testament to Mercedes. I'll forward you the photos that I have.
Unbelievable. Only in Deal Lake, let me tell you. Only in Deal Lake. Anyway, hey, thanks for the clarification, Brian. That was great. I haven't heard anything on the carp contest. I haven't asked Joe Pilata yet, but I will. Well, we're going to try to have a carp contest this year. Why not, right? Get the lines wet again and see what we can do. I think that's all I got here, guys, on my list.
okay.
Commissioner's last word. Any other new business? I'm sorry. Any other new business? Okay. We'll start with Carol.
Thanks, Don. I've been working with the director of the Interlaken Shade Tree Commission on an educational project. It was presented at their meeting and was well received. So we are continuing to kind of work towards something that could, if it works, it's going to take some time to develop, but, could turn out to be something that could be applicable in all of the lake towns. For people who enjoy walking around the lake and want to know what they're looking at. So we're continuing to work on that.
Thanks, Carol. Jeannie?
I just wanted to, as Steve was talking about grants, I was thinking that, we had a really good success with schools. But I think one of the things we heard, at least the volunteers were saying to me, and as I distributed brochures as well, talking to the public, and people kept saying, gee, I wish I knew about this. How, can you get this out in other ways? And I thought, well, we could, right? So I'd like to see us do more of that, maybe in the way of doing a workshop on these topics, about how the public can help, what the regulations are with lakefront, but not just for lakefront homeowners, to expand that kind of education to other people so that it does help us to have less runoff into our lake. So I'd like to see that. And the other thing I mentioned just before the meeting was we did a good job of putting together last year a list of objectives that we wanted to work on this year, and we did cover a lot of them, but I'd like us to do something similar this year, starting for 2020.
We'll work on that, Jeannie. Let's,
okay.
I don't want to get heavily into this. You only have 1 minute, Jeannie. In about 5 seconds.
That was. You just
One
took
minute.
5 seconds for me. Stop. I just wanted to say that I'd like us to pick up on our objectives for 2022. I think it helps to be focused on things. So thank you. That's it.
I think we're pretty focused. I hate to tell you.
I didn't say you weren't
You're
focused.
very focused and you're good. So
Just said I
I
think
thank you for that.
to have objectives.
All right. Who else we got? Oh, Tony, Anthony.
Well, I've been on this Deal Lake Commission for a while, maybe not as long as most of you, but I'm pushing 10 years. And I have to say, in the last year and a half, I think the whole commission has accomplished more in the last 2 years than you have in the last 6 or 7, for one reason or another. And I think that's due to all the hard work that everyone has done, you, Don, and everyone else. And I think we should continue on that way and figure out new ways how we can, innovative ways, how we can clean up the lake a little bit better, a new idea, new technologies. And I always look at the journals and I try to keep my eye open for something new and interesting, but I haven't come up with anything yet. But
Carp killer.
Carp killer, yeah.
Find it. Thanks. Eric Hotel, I forgot to mention, I asked Eric to help out and focus our efforts on that state infrastructure stuff because he knows so many people. And I'm sorry for your loss, Eric, and the race, but I know you're going to stick with the commission. Thank you for that, and I'm sure you're not going to be out of politics too long. That's all yours, buddy.
Well, thanks. Well, just to say, like, Neptune has 2 commissioners on 2 different lakes now, Westlake, Fletcher, and they're pretty energized with trying to get projects done. And they're trying to get a meeting set up with our new congressman. The Congressman Plone is back. So we've had a meeting with Smith's office. So now they're going to try to set up a meeting with Congressman Plone to see if there would be any federal help with some of the infrastructure that needs, like Fletcher Lake has some real issues, and so does Wesley Lake. So we'll see how that happens. If it works out, maybe we can bring it on over to Deal, see if we can get any federal help there with funding.
Okay. Thanks. Margot?
Hi, I wanted to tell you Clean Ocean Action's beach sweep is April 9th. We're early this year also.
Okay.
What do I want to say? Okay, so with dog licenses going out, we sent this out to everything to remind people about what animal waste does to the lake and how to make sure that you clean it up properly and dispose of it properly. And then next time a letter goes out, which it'll go out in February, obviously for people to start with their beach badges. We're going to do something. We're really going to concentrate on not washing your car or hiring a service that washes your car in your driveway. Because in the summer, quite a few people hire services that wash them and then they don't use environmentally friendly products. And I want to alert the mayor and the village offices to that leak that you were just speaking of. Is it on the east side or the west side of the bridge?
It's on the northeast corner. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, northwest corner of the bridge.
Okay.
It's the other side of you. It's in front of the old DeSarno house.
The one that's all stone. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
definitely.
I'll get on that.
Okay.
Hey, what was the beach sweep day? April?
April 9th. It's
Right.
9
April
to
9th.
12:30.
Okay, thank you.
We're early this year. We usually do it
Yeah.
the third weekend.
So I think I got everybody right. Yeah. So my little minute, I just want to tell you two things. The vac truck, I talked to Allenhurst, DPW, Mark Heitmiller, who is a friend of mine, and I mentioned to him about storm drain cleaning. He mentioned they have a really unique way to do it, and they do it with a leaf truck. And I was gonna they were supposed to do it on Wednesday and demonstrated for me, but the truck broke down. So anyway, they're going to do it next week, next Wednesday, I think at 10:30 along the lake. If anybody would like to go down and check it out by the water tower, I think they're going to begin. And they have a unique way to they take the grate off the storm drain and they funnel. They have a small hose that goes on a leaf truck, and it sucks all the leaves out instead of using one of those high pressured sewer pumping trucks, which they work very well, but they're expensive to run. You need specialized equipment, people to use them. And this doesn't need and it's expensive. They're $500,000, something like that. So, and I think the material that goes in has to be dumped as hazardous waste, I think. But anyway, this is the leaves only, and debris, sediment, whatever it is, would go into the truck, and they would dump it in normal leaf recycling piles. So that's what they tell me they do. So I'm going to see it in person next week. You want to come out? Come on out to Allenhurst by the water tower at 10:30. And that's all I got. Great year last year, and hopefully we'll have another wonderful year, and we'll move out and be the leaders in the state of New Jersey for lakes. We're up there. What do you think, Steve? Top 5?
Yeah, I mean, easily. I mean, how many lake associations or lake groups in the state have received an award from NOMS? Only 4, I believe. So, definitely.
Top 4.
Yep.
Steve, are they going to have another art competition like the one we participated? Can you
do it every year?
Can you send me that information?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
See, there it goes. Peter's got the he's got the plaque.
Oh,
right
very
there.
nice. Very
nice.
I like that, Pete. Hey, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get open to the public.
Could you send that to me, Steve? Because I have some teachers that are interested.
We're moving to the public session, guys.
A
Jesse?
motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, public. Anybody out there would like to speak? Raise your hand, come to the screen. I see Mary or one of our cleaner uppers. Thank you for coming tonight. I think Jim's on there, I think. So anyway, thanks for coming. I guess it's time to close the public session.
Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm glad the public's happy. That's all I have to say.
A motion to adjourn the meeting? A motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
I second.
Second.
Hey, it's good to see you all. By the way, I forgot to say, Happy New Year.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.